Hello, everyone, and good evening, and welcome to the Cosmic Conversations. I'm your host, Sheila Seppi, and I want to thank everyone for joining us. Now, tonight, my guest is Karen Swain. And Karen, as she, most of you know her because a lot of times she'll stand in for me whenever I can't come to the show. But I bet there's some things I'm going to tell you that you did not know about Miss Karen. So, let me tell you, Karen started her journey as a child, and she never stopped asking questions. Of course, she asks questions all the time now because she's a phenomenal show host. But as a child, she never stopped asking questions or about the meaning of life or religion. And so even though she didn't grow up in a religious household, she was still asking all these questions. But her answers were more powerfully activated when her mother became ill with cancer and died when Karen was just a teenager. Now, to this curious mind of a child who never stopped asking questions, Karen's questions now turn to something different. Why am I here on earth? What happens when you die? Where do you go when you die? What if this place that we go to, then must that be where we come from before we come to the earth? And where is this place? And what does this place offer? Doesn't that sound just like Karen? So today, Karen is a teacher of deliberate creation. She is a spiritual mentor. She is a channel of higher guidance, education, inspirational speaker. She's a host of the Accentuate the Positive. And she's also the author of Return to Love and Awakened by Death. Karen will have to talk about that. So she enlightens you to the power of your own thoughts and beliefs and how they create your reality and how you can live in alignment with your own emotional guidance system. Now, this guidance is on a cosmic scale. So remember, your connection to the spiritual teams, your angelic help, and other aspects throughout time, space, multidimensional selves, your soul purpose, why you are here, and how you're going to contribute to the world. Karen is a psychic medium. She's a channel. She's a teacher of deliberate creation who activates, accelerates, acclimates, and accentuates the new world teachers by supporting the light weavers, making a difference, and the star seeds who are bringing in this new reality. So to remember who they are and why they're here on this earth and what they have come here to do. She is one of Australia's foremost thought leaders and change agents, and she shows you the way to a more joyful, connected, multidimensional life. Now, Karen is also the Australian representative for the Conscious Awakening Network, and she is the host of her own show on CAN called ATP Media Awakening Consciousness. So here to awaken our consciousness tonight is Karen Swain. So Miss Karen, how are you? Come on up. Join me.
OMG, was that the best bio I've ever heard? Yeah, right. Janelle says yes. I know you're amazing. You're amazing. Absolutely amazing. Thank you, darling one. Thank you. Look, I've got a bit of a mission for us all tonight, which I'll go into later, unless I don't know if anyone wants me to sort of share my story. There's a few people here I haven't met before. You do. It's a big story.
I really would like for you to share your story because it's never old because
I'm old.
Every time you tell your story, then somebody else picks up something different, or even I pick up something that resonates different with me. Yeah. So there's real true vibration in your story.
Yeah, well, you said it, I was one of these kids that just never stopped asking questions. Having done what you do, Sheila, showcased New World teachers and, had conversations with people all over the world for many years. I started in my 30s facilitating a group called the Academy of Light, and we had a group every Monday night where we did a meditation. We had a guest speaker live. We had about as many that are online now. We had physically. And then a few years after that, probably about 10 years after that, I started doing the same thing, but on the internet, Because although there's only a few of us online now, this can go out and reach hundreds, maybe thousands, with spiritual podcasters now that are coming through that have sort of started shows in the last couple of years. They're reaching hundreds of thousands and millions of people. So I'm watching the expanse of consciousness. It's so exciting. I see Don there. And I just want to say that in the next couple of, because I run a group like Sheila's, in the next couple of months, we've got Sheila as our guest teacher in the Inner Sanctum. And then Donna's coming in after that. So we've got the gang coming online. Woohoo! So yeah, my story is, look, Mum got sick with cancer. First of all, I came from a well-to-do family, and it was completely dysfunctional when my parents were trying to kill themselves. And then the three of us, there were three kids, we were trying to kill each other because we were mimicking our parents. And you know, much like life as it is today, my parents were socialites. And so the papers would often take photographs at them at these very shishi parties, and the beautiful couple with these beautiful three kids, and present this portrait, this painting of the perfect nuclear family. And it was all BS, right? Because we're all fighting and trying to get, and then eventually Dad leaves Mum for a younger model. Literally a younger model. She was like I think she was about 18 when he met her and about 24 when they got together, and she was a model. She was my first stepmother, who just died recently, actually, at 74, 75. And Mum basically after that hated herself and hated him to death. Like, she was so affronted that because she was a good looking woman, she was beautiful, but she put all her eggs in one basket called looking good, which humans tend to do, don't we? We think that if we look good, that either we look good physically, or if we've got a great career, or we're, you know, like making a difference. I was having a chat with Rachel Horton White on my show yesterday about that, because in Sydney we have this beautiful meditation teacher who took his life a couple of weeks ago, and I scratched my head and I'm like, how did that happen? But sometimes as humans we get so attached to our place in the world, which is something I discussed with a guy whose dead son had channeled through him. He was mentally disabled when he was alive, and he died at 20. And then 25 years later, his father released a book of his channeling, and he was a master soul channeling through Dr. Leo Gallen. And he talked about our attachment to place. We get so attached to our place in the world. And I'm going to go, as the reason I'm saying this, because I'm going to talk more about this in deliberate creation. So like most people on earth, my parents were very attached to their place, presenting as this young, beautiful, rich couple, and then hating on each other and beating each other up. And Dad leaves, and Mum gets so depressed because her attachment to her place in the world. She was beautiful. She was married to this handsome, sort of rich man. And now she's this divorcee, and it took 5 years for her to die of cancer. And I watched that. I watched that demise of Mum, and I watched her hatred ruin her body. And she was my first spiritual teacher, really, because watching, they say you're either a shining example or a terrible warning, but everyone is our teacher, right? Everyone is our teacher. So I watched how our thoughts, our negative thoughts, can directly impact our physical reality. And that was her physical body that I was watching just demise and get sick. So at 50, she dies of cancer. And just like Sheila was saying, I was asking a lot of questions. Like, I would ask my very secular parents who didn't give a rip about religion or anything like that, why does a baby born in sin? I don't understand why we have to baptize babies. How can a baby be born in sin when it hasn't done anything wrong? So these are the thoughts of a child. And my parents would just say, oh, I don't know, ask your father. And Dad would say, I don't know, ask your mother. And so the questions turn from those sorts of things to what happens when you die, and where do you go when you die? And if you go somewhere, then we've come from there. And what is that place? And so these questions put me on the spiritual path. And death was really my biggest teacher, because so many people died around me. And now I'm just getting some feedback. And there you go. I think Peter needs to be asked to unmute. No. Sorry, I'm just hearing myself speaking. So where was I? So
I'm working on that for you.
Oh, thanks, darling. So many people died around me, and all of them came to tell me there's no such thing as death. Like, all of them. The first one was Mum. But as a young girl, I didn't understand I didn't understand any of it. Like most of us, I didn't understand we were souls having a physical life experience and who we really are as spirit or soul. But I would have dreams, and then I would interpret those dreams through my linear ego mind and the limiting understanding I had of who I was as a teenager or a young woman. But I would see Mum in a dream, and it was so real. Many of you will understand that are on this call, it was like I was in an astral experience. And the astral experience was as real as anything. So I could touch her, I could feel her. Hello from Utah. I could feel her, and it was a real experience. And so in my dream, I was with my mother, and she was always in another place, like another house or another country or another state, which was an indication that she wasn't on Earth. But I didn't understand that. To me, she was just in another place on Earth. And I would say, well, you're here. And she'd say, yes, I'm here. And I'm like, I don't understand, but you're dead. And she'd say, I'm not dead. There's no such thing as death. And I'm like really confused. And then I'd get angry because there'd been like years that I hadn't seen her. And I said, well, where the hell have you been? Like you just disappeared. And then I'd wake up in the morning, and we interpret our dreams through our understanding at the time. So even though our guides are giving us messages, or our soul are giving us messages at night, every night, we can only understand it through what we understand through our linear ego minds. So that's why watching podcast shows and listening to guests, and the Conscious Awakening Network got that one in, watching all this stuff and listening to other people's experiences and listening to this information expands our conscious mind, so that when we have our own experiences, we can understand it and digest it better. But when I was young, I didn't understand. So I just thought I was having crazy dreams. And going back. And then other people died when I was older. My best friend committed suicide. Another best friend died of complications of thalidomide. Another girlfriend died of cancer. Look, I just had people dying on me left, right, and center. And
Wow.
all the time, giving me even more questions. But when I was in my 30s and my best friend died, she committed suicide, I was very upset, as you can imagine, when somebody kills themselves. It's 11:11 here. And she's saying hello. And I was given the most amazing experience, because every night when I'd go to sleep, I would wake up, when we fall asleep, we wake up into another experience. We wake up into an astral form, if you like. I would sort of wake up into my astral body, and she'd be sitting on the end of the bed waiting for me to go to sleep and wake up. And then we'd talk about her experience. And what was really interesting, having committed suicide, she wasn't in a hellish place. She wasn't upset. She wasn't remorseful. But what she was doing was trying to, me and other people that were upset about her death, she was trying to get a message through that everything was okay, and that she was okay, and all was well. And a lot of people who leave the planet that we have known do this, but we don't hear them, or if we do, we hear them in dreams, we see them in dreams. But we get so upset here on this planet about the death experience. And when you speak to people who are dead, who have had a physical life experience and transition out of this experience, they say the same thing over and over again. There is no death. There is just life, and then more life, and then more life, and then more life. And this is one experience of the myriad of experiences that we can have as a soul, because we are multidimensional. And through all of it, I'm really shortening this, through all of it, we have a power to create our reality in every dimension, including this one. And in this dimension, it's one of the hardest experiences, because we're under the veil of forgetting, or as Samuel Chong said from the Tayuba prophecy. I think you've had Samuel on Cosmic Conversations, haven't you, Sheila?
No, we haven't. Not yet.
Oh, haven't you? Oh, God, you've got to get Samuel on. The River of Oblivion, he called it. I think it's from the book, The River of Oblivion. And I thought that was so great, the River of Oblivion. So we're under this River of Oblivion, or the forgetfulness, and then we're awakening to who we are. So I had an interesting conversation with Rachel Horton-White, as I said on the show yesterday. I've just uploaded it this morning, busy morning. And we were talking about awakening, because she had a conversation with Brandon Thomas on Expanding Reality, who's now on the CAN network too, Conscious Awakening Network, getting that one in. And Brandon actually has sent me like 20 people to interview, and I'm like, I've got so many people to want to be on the show, but Brandon's like, speak to this one, isn't he great? So Rachel was one of them, and their conversation was talking about waking up, how people are waking up to the corruption of our world. And what's happening, I've discussed this many times on my show and with my group and on other shows, how as the light packets hit this earth, as we ascend and shift into a new consciousness on planet Earth, what it does is it's revealing the dirt, but it's also revealing the light. So as we have been conditioned and programmed to believe in our limitedness and how we can't have what we want, the light is revealing the brilliance of who we really are as soul, as spirit, as creator. But also it's revealing the distortion and the corruption that is rife on this planet. Like, we've been listening to the news for years and years and years, and current, affair programs, and watching the distortion play out. But it's revealing things that we never thought was possible, which is happening at the moment. And it's something that I want to address with the group today, with all of you. I want you to help me bring more light into this world, because that's what we're all here to do, right? We're all here to bring more light into the world. So if I put my thing on gallery view, that doesn't mess up the thing? No.
No, it doesn't mess up yours.
No. I want to see everybody. And so many of you, so is that enough about my story? I kind of skipped over a lot, but I want to use these beautiful light workers to help what we're all doing here on this call, and why we're all interested in these subjects. So one of the things that as humans we get really lost, because there are literally millions and millions and millions of light workers on this planet, but many of us get lost in the mechanism that gives us the ability to pinch ourselves off from our brilliance and the light. And Jesus Christ came to earth to teach us about our powers of creation. And he did his best job teaching people about who they are. And then other people took his teachings and distorted it, and it's all been a bit of a mess. But I think that as the light workers are here, not really connected to any particular organization, we're just seeking the light within ourselves, we can be a powerful force of light in this world. So all of you, go Karen. Thanks, Patty. So all of you will have heard, well, many of you will have heard about a movie that has come out called The Sound of Freedom, right? Yes. Has it? So, yeah. Who hasn't heard about it? Yeah. Who hasn't heard about it? Interestingly enough, so I've been totally geeking out on it lately. Not the movie itself, but on the interviews around the director and the actor and the guy that it's about. It's about a guy called Tim Ballard, a Christian guy who does operations where he goes into countries like Cuba and Asia and even in America and places, and he rescues children from pedophilia rings, right? So this is a topic which is a pretty heinous topic that most people don't want to think about. And we hear about it in the news and we think, oh, that's terrible. But what we do as humans is okay. All right. So what we do as humans is we tend to judge what we deem as evil and or not okay. And so as the light reveals the distortion and the corruption, even the most enlightened of us go into an energy of disgust or hatred. And so as deliberate creators, how we create our world personally, this world globally, and the cosmic multidimensional universes is through our vibration. And when we think in a way that doesn't feel good, it means that we're pinching off our power and our ability to create both personally and collectively. And so when we go into judgment and hatred and disgust, what we're doing is we're actually pinching off our own power, where Deepak said it beautifully, we're in resistance, and resistance is like a wall holding back the flow of love. And so I'm going to cry about this. And so where I've been geeking out on all the interviews around this movie, I haven't seen the movie, I have to say, but we can well imagine what it's about. And I've listened to many interviews about what the movie's about. So they say that they don't show the subject matter that they're talking about because they don't want to show that sort of thing, but they're discussing what happens. I was thinking, what Tim's doing, which is so brave and everyone's applauding him, is kind of the Band-Aid effect. It's like the end product of the distortion. So these children are getting kidnapped and they're getting enslaved and they're getting beaten and raped and killed for organ harvest and heinous things. And then he's coming in and rescuing kids. But I kind of kept thinking, what causes someone to do that? Like, what's the cause? It's a bit like disease. When we have a headache, we can take a Panadol and the headache will go. But what's the cause of the headache or the disease in our body? So what is the cause of the disease on Earth? Has anyone got anything they'd like to say about that? Can we take questions, Sheila? Is it okay?
Oh, absolutely. If somebody has a comment that they want to make, go ahead and raise your hand so I can acknowledge you. But
Bridget's got a hand up.
Where are you, Bridget, darling?
Bridget Wolf, yeah.
Where are you? Oh,
Yeah.
There we go. Got it. Come on up.
Wow. First of all, I celebrate that we're able to be together and have this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is no small feat. Thank you, Sheila, and everyone for holding space for this, because as a starseed, to the best of my knowledge, who's been coming to Earth for thousands of years to help bring peace, I am aware of a lot of malevolent extraterrestrials. My particular lineage connected to the rainbow constellation of Andromeda. And for thousands of years, we've been dealing with the Draco reptilians on many, many planets and galaxies that have enslaved people and have mentally entrapped leaders of governments and at top levels of power structures to use children, to use body parts, to do experiments. And I work every day to release people from these chains. And I am doing clearings on a regular basis. I do mass clearings. I've connected with technologies that are from Andromeda, because the Andromedans have spaceships all over with medical beds and with sound frequency generators. I'm a musician and I'm a singer and I'm a drummer, and I was working with a DNA repair tuning fork as you're talking about these heinous subjects, because my energetic body is so sensitive, and I know this needs to be spoken about, but to keep myself in a vibration of peace, which is my desire.
Bridget, do you have a question? Do you have a question for Karen?
I thought I was invited to say that I think part of the reason why this stuff is happening is because I'm aware of these malevolent extraterrestrials that have this agenda, and they've been coming here for thousands of years with the same program, and I'm done with it. I'm really done with them impacting Earth this way. So I'm showing up. I'm supporting you, Karen, and Sheila, and everyone for the highest and best, bringing love and light. And I'm curious about, Karen, how you've been working with the skill set that you have to help shift this story on Earth out of slavery to freedom. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bridget. Yeah, look, that's exactly, I'm not muted. That's exactly what I wanted to talk about today and what I wanted to do with you all. So I kind of skipped over a lot of my story, but, during this slow awakening process, I became very aware of my guides, and I reverently call them the mob, because they appear to me as like a non-identity, just a group of beings, like a massive, like thousands. You would call it a social memory complex, or a conscious, anyway, like just energy and information that have like thousands of souls that have incarnated into many universes and many different dimensions, and have been many things: human, reptilian, like Palladian, just spirit guides, angels, the mob. I just group them all in and call them the mob. When I was in my 40s, I think, or 30s, late 30s, I gave them a better name and called them blissful beings, which I called my business for a time. But anyway, they chat to me, they're on hand, they chat to me all the time, and I have been chatting to them about this. And this is what they wish to remind us. They wish to remind us that no matter who you are, where you come from, whether you're a reptilian or an evil person or a pedophile, it's all God. It's all source energy. All of us come from this realm of source energy, and we elect to have different experiences throughout the cosmos. And as humans, we deem that as good or bad, but all of it is wanted. But the story on planet Earth at the moment is that we've been in a very dense time. As I listen to people online repeatedly talk about how difficult the time is now, I was watching a documentary recently on Auschwitz. It was called After Auschwitz, and it was 6 Jewish ladies talking about how they endured the camps, the death camps, and then what happened to them after the death camps. They were liberated from the camps, and they were homeless. Their family was dead. They had no money. They were like let out, but they had no life, right? And then some of them went back to their countries and their home were occupied by different people. And they said, oh, they were wearing their clothes and using their house. And I was thinking, now that is a hard life. What we're going through on Earth is not hard compared to that. Like, we have to forget that we have this history. So we've explored density and corruption and for a long time. And now we're moving out of that experience into a new experience of more unity and cooperation instead of competition. And as light workers, we're all here to implement that experience. But the guides say to me, when you turn up the light on a dirty house, you get to see the dirt. But it's only when you see the dirt can you clean it. Like, only when you notice something is there can you get rid of it. And so as light workers, that's what we're here to do. And many of us have incarnated into families that hold a lot of corruption and distortion, and we're not here to judge it or to be victims or to suffer from it, but to understand that our job is here to experience it, to acknowledge it, and then to create a new way. And that's what I wanted to do with all of us today, actually. And I really acknowledge your work, Bridget, like acknowledging the distortion and the reptilians and the control dramas and the people that, facilitate these terrible things, and sending that loving energy and using the crystal bowls and the tuning forks and sending that loving energy towards that. But in our judgment of that, we are not helping it. We are perpetuating the problem. As we are disgusted and appalled and all those things, we are perpetuating the problem. So if we can take ourselves out of the human experience and look on it from a soul experience, from a higher experience, and understand that every eye, I see Stone nodding, everyone in all dimensions comes from the one source, and that source is a source of pure positive energy. And that source does not judge, ever.
Experience.
It gives us as souls, as an extension, the opportunity to experience everything. And it doesn't judge. And so as humans, can we do the same?
Yeah,
Can we do the same? Yeah, sorry, go on.
Karen, one of the things I was going to say, at the beginning of all things, when Source, desired to have experience and the movements began to occur and the polarity began to happen, there were those beings of light and there were those beings that chose to work in the dark. But the problem was the dark is not negative. The dark was the opposite of the light. However, some of these beings chose to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until they forgot that they were part of the light. And when that began to happen, then they began to disconnect their remembrance, and they truly began to lose their co-creative abilities. And what has happened through eons of time, these beings have come down to various planets, incarnated, taken over planets, etc. But the one thing that they try to do is to overshadow or to create those false matrices that we're then looking through, thinking that that is our reality, that we're not co-creators within ourselves. Because if they can convince us of that, if they can convince us to live in fear, to drop into that darkness, then they have caused us through their actions to begin to co-create the path that they want. And I think right now what's happening is those distortions, those matrices, those false matrices are beginning to crumble. And I think that it is so exciting. And, you know, the more that this crumbling occurs, because of the light packets, as you were calling them, I love that, as they begin to open and they begin to, you know, share light on the planet, we're going to see more and more things that we would call distasteful. But if we can remember, as souls, we're here just on this planet having, like, we're actors on the play, you know. We've chosen, you have the Karen role, I have the Sheila role, everybody has their own roles, and we're moving throughout that play because of the experience. You know, it's all about experience. And you're right, you know, on the other side, I don't ever remember there being shame, blame, guilt, none of those types of emotions. It was all about the experience and how we move through that experience. So as we get closer, because I believe the ascension has already begun, we've already got our toes in that water. We're walking out into it. Now what's happening is, as our light rises, then we do start to see more of what we would deem the darkness. But isn't that exciting too? Isn't it exciting? And, you know, I did watch the movie. I did go to see that. And when I have. I left with a feeling of, it was definitely heaviness, you know, and it's not like it's anything that we haven't had awareness of, but the fact that he's bringing it to a mainstream audience, the fact that it is moving into different communities that necessarily would not be watching a show like what we're doing tonight, because it is out and infiltrating. More and more people are getting that conscious awareness. So I really appreciate everything that you're bringing forward for everyone tonight. So thank you so much, honey.
Thanks, darling one. Yeah, he's definitely getting out in the mainstream. You know, there's a group like us. I mean, we're bigger in numbers now, but as I said, like 25 years ago, I was facilitating little groups every Monday night and wondering, where are the rest of them? Where are the rest of them? And then the internet came and I'm looking for y'all on the internet, and a bit of an American accent there. And then, you know, and like I'm seeing this consciousness grow, but the masses are what, you know, the people that have made that, who they're talking to. And as the masses become aware of this, because I think that what it is that we've all heard about it and we kind of go, that's disgusting, and get on with our lives. But I think that what we're being made aware of is just how prolific it is, like how prolific it is. It's just crazy that there's so much distortion, sexual distortion. Because what's really interesting, when you talk to dead people or people that have had near-death experiences, that sexual energy is source energy. It's like when we die, we re-emerge back into this heightened, ecstatic, blissful energy that is similar to what we experience when we evoke sexual energy on Earth. And then how can we take this beautiful sexual energy and create such horrendous slavery and distortion? It's like crazy what us humans can do, right? We're clever like that. Or the reptilians, as you say, they're clever too. But interestingly enough, another thing that Leo said about, or his son channeling through him, who was a mentally disabled boy when he was alive on Earth, he lived to about 20 years and then died, and then channeled through him as this ascended master, I would say. he said that there are these, I don't think he used the word matrices, but he said that there are these people that never leave that dark matrix that you were talking about. And I thought, oh, isn't that interesting? And Leo and I discussed that. As a healer, he's a healer, I'm a healer. We want to believe that there is hope for everybody, that everyone can ascend and return to the light of love, right? And then I thought deeply about it and chatted to the guides about it. And they said, well, someone has to uphold the matrix. Like someone has to uphold that distorted negative, as we call them, timelines or matrix. It's built out of source energy, but it's built as this playground for us to play in, and someone has to sort of hold that energy. And I thought, well, yeah, that makes sense. It's a bit like humans go to fun parks to be horrified, terrified. I was watching something online of, you know how they have cameras on those rides where they go up and then they fall, and people are so brave when they get in the seat, and then they scream, and then they faint, and then they scream. And then, have you seen those? I was watching. But, you know, we build these things to horrify us, to terrify us. And we build worlds like that too, right? And Earth was a world that was built in this negative, distorted timeline matrix. And we're now building, all of us here are building a new matrix. We're building a new matrix of a I don't like to use the word better, but of a more connected, more unified timeline. You know, we're not kind of making heaven on earth. Heaven's in heaven and earth is earth. Like, you don't need heaven on earth because you got heaven. Like, we need an experience that we can have, and all the contrast that we experience is for the evolution of our soul. And I think that the evolution, the challenge we're given is, can we see something heinous? Can we experience something unwanted and find love anyway? And find acceptance anyway.
Beautiful.
And this is who we are as powerful, conscious, deliberate creators. When we can find love inside the darkness, or find the light inside the darkness, now we have returned to the power of source. Paul Selig's guides say it like this. Kristen, help me out. I always say, I forget this. So he says, when you see the divine in what you look at transforms. Oh, I got it right. So when you, she's nodding, when you see the divine in what you look at transforms. And so as the light workers, starseeds, new world teachers, difference makers, whatever you want to call us here on this call, and people that are listening, this is our job, to look at something and see the divine in it, not deem it as the devil's work, which a lot of people are doing. So I know there's a couple of hands up, which we'll get to.
Yeah, let's go ahead and you want to go ahead and bring Susie up.
Susie.
Hi, Susie. You have a question?
I do. I'm also late. I'm so sorry that I'm late, but I'm at the, had a little RV trouble, but it means I get to stay at Mount Shasta one more night. I love you, Karen. I'm so grateful
Susie.
we record this. I love you so much. And I wanted to comment. I don't know if this was said, but I came in right when you were talking about the movie. And I've seen some alternate TV interviews. And the guys that are still in charge really giving that guy ration of crap. I mean, they're telling him that he's lying. And, you know, it's just you know, yucky. And, well, I just am commenting on that, but I think you are one of the most interviewers alive. And you let people be them in such a, thank you for being here. I promise I'll watch the rerun.
Thanks, Susie. Thank you for your light and all the music you put in the world. You're a star. You're a star. What about Nissan?
Yeah. All right, Nissan.
Is that how you say it? Probably saying it.
Yes, Nissan, I like the car.
Nissan.
How you doing?
Hi.
So I love this presentation. First of all, there are a couple of things that are a little bit still distorted. I still find maybe we could go have some corrections, because one, I blame the English language because it's very convoluted and made out so on purpose. Also, the history's been distorted a bit. So, like, for example, Christ is Jesus' actual name is Yahshua. or Yusuf, if you want to, depending how you pronounce it, because it's like son of Joseph, because he was the son of Joseph. When he went to Kem, which is now Egypt, it was pronounced differently, and then somehow along the way it got translated to Jesus. So like that. And also the idea about heaven, it's been used in many different ways, but the idea of Christ's idea of heaven, like then, like there was no separation. It was like more of the frequency. So he wants to bring the frequency of heaven to earth, being ways of vibration of earth to the higher one, because heaven's more like, so that's more of a confusion between, because heaven's not an actual place. It's more of like a distinction of the higher realms as an above.
Yeah. And so do you have a question for Karen?
Yeah, the one question, because I did not fully see the sound of, the movie yet.
Freedom. Mm-hmm.
Freedom. One of the participants, which is part of an organization known as Ways of Light. I don't know. No, I'm sorry, not Ways of Light. TLS, the light system. Do we know all the participants that actually served in saving the children?
Karen, hold on just a minute.
Oh.
Yeah, you were muted there.
Hello?
Karen, can you unmute?
Sorry, I unmuted and then you unmuted. I don't know what.
Oh.
Nissan, I don't really know the answer to that question. Do we know all the participants? I've got nothing to do with the movie. As I say, I was just watching people's interviews. And then I was asking for questions. I was asking questions like, why is this happening? Why is it so prolific? What's gone wrong? And if we're here as light workers, starseeds, volunteers, if we volunteered to incarnate, insert ourselves into this matrix, and we're here to create a new matrix, how can we do that? They were the questions I were asking myself. And the particulars of the movies and all that sort of thing, I don't know. I have nothing to do with it. It was just the questions that the whole thing evoked in me that I wanted to discuss with you all today, and to be a part of the light and creating a light matrix here on earth, instead of being a part of upholding the dark matrix. Because as we see the dark and then judge the dark, what we do is we perpetuate the dark matrix. So even as we think about ourselves as light workers or light beings, and then we're disgusted and we're revolted and we're angry and we're just perpetuating an energy of distortion, and we're keeping that matrix, like we're actually building on that dark matrix instead of building a new matrix. As I said, I'm going to repeat Paul Selig, what the guide said through Paul Selig. When you see the divine in what you look at transforms. And so can we see something like a heinous, like when I've seen shorts of the film, and I'm not just talking about the film because it's everywhere and all over the planet, and much of it is covert, and much of the corruption comes from people that we revere and we celebrate, who smile at us on our screens, and we say you're wonderful, and then behind the scenes they're doing terrible things. But can we see the divine in what we look at? Can we see the divine? So what is the divine? Because when we can see the divine in what we look at, we see the divine in ourselves. We see the power in ourselves. We see the power of who we are to affect change and to build a new world. So we are the light weavers. We are weaving light, and we are creating a new matrix. And so what I wanted to do today is I wanted to do the Ho'oponopono prayer. As I was asking that question to my mob, my guides, and saying, how can I be a part of the solution instead of a part of the problem? They were asking me to see everyone that is involved in these operations, the persecutor, the perpetrator, you know, the corruption, the cartels, the governments that allow this to go on, the corporations, all of it that we want to demonize and we want to damn and we want to judge. All of it, all the people, all the energies that are involved come from one source. They come from light. And when you see the light in what you look at, the light expands. What you look at expands. What you focus on expands. These are 101 laws of deliberate creation. Can you love your disease? Can you love the person that beats you up? I did this as a young girl because, as I said, I came from a very dysfunctional family. And when Dad was divorced for the second time, he was very angry. And as a young teenager, he beat the living crap out of, you know, put me in hospital. And then later as an adult, instead of hanging on to hatred and resentment, I saw that he played his role perfectly in the movie of my life. And I gave him, as I was sitting up in bed one night, I gave him an Academy Award for Best Actor in my stage play of life. And if we can see the light in what's happened, then we can transform and transmute. So who knows the Ho'oponopono prayer? I was like trying to remember it, and I was getting, you know, the way that it goes. Like I when I was doing it the other day, as I was chatting to the mob and I was thinking about all this, I could think of three things. I could think of, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you. And then I'm going, hang on, there's another one. There's another one. And then I'm going, yeah, right. And I'm going, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you. I'm sorry, but another. And so I'm sitting on the couch directing this information towards the people that are creating the chaos in the world, the corruption, the pedophilia, towards those people. Because the person that created the Ho'oponopono prayer was a Hawaiian man, a Hawaiian shaman and healer that used to sit outside mental asylums and recite this prayer. And the people within the asylums would change and heal and have a different consciousness. Their consciousness would change. And he didn't go in and speak to them. He didn't touch them. He would sit outside and direct the information or direct the prayer or the energy of the prayer towards the people within the asylum, and they would heal. And that is the power of who we are as conscious, deliberate creators. When we direct our focus, when we are focused on coming from light and direct it light towards something, it heals, or at least we give it a red hot shot at healing. We remind those people they are too from the light who have forgotten. And so I was sitting on the couch and as you said, I couldn't remember the third one. And then it came, bang, thank you. And as I got the thank you, I had this well of energy move through my body and just shivering, and just the energy of the thank you. I can't tell you, like, so I got to experience by forgetting the third part, by forgetting the thank you and then having that remembrance of it, I felt the power of the thank you. And as you said, Nissan, you know, the name of Christ or Jesus was not Jesus, it was Yeshua. I actually call him Sananda. He's a buddy of mine. Sananda is the name I give him. I've drawn a picture of him, which you'll see on my Blissful Beings Facebook page. I channeled an image of him, which is one of those spooky images that, you know, a bit like the Mona Lisa, it looks at you wherever you are in the room. Hilarious. Anyway, where am I? I've lost my track of thought. He reminded us, now, what was I saying, Sheila? I've lost my track of thought when I went into.
Well, you're talking about the Ho'oponopono and
the Ho'oponopono prayer.
Yeah, and the Christ energy.
Yeah, like he was basically teaching us all not to judge, like 2000 years ago, don't judge. How well did that do? How well did that do? Stop judging people. Stop judging those. You can judge those that have never done anything wrong. Throw the first stone. You know, I'm not good up on my biblical stories. I'm sure all of you are. But as we direct that energy of forgiveness, and what the guy did, and you can Google his name because I'm terrible with names. I can't remember the guy's name, the shaman who created the Ho'oponopono prayer, is that he took on, and this is something Don and I talked about when I had Don on my show, and Don is one of the only people I've heard on earth that does that. He took on the darkness of the world. Like, he understood that he's a big enough light that he can actually say, I'm sorry for the other people who are in distortion that can't say it. And it's pretty huge, right? And Don is somebody, Don Hudnall, yep, mounting you here, Don, is somebody that does that too. He takes on that darkness, understanding that he is this ball of light, and through that light it can transmute. So who's up for doing the Ho'oponopono prayer?
Yeah, let's do it.
So maybe we could unmute everybody and we could say it together, but we have to put it in a sequence that we all agree on, because when I was doing it on the couch the other night, I kept changing it. So I would start with, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And I'd start with, I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry. Or I'd start with, thank you. Like, does anyone have a preference in which way you want to start? What will we start with?
I have a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
First
Okay.
of all, start with, I am sorry, please forgive me. And then hey, and then I say, thank you, I love you. For me, that's
Okay.
how it goes. But
That's how it goes. Well, that's the
I'm
one we'll
sorry.
do. So I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Well, okay, so we can do this. We can direct that energy towards the people that are enslaving and murdering children. We can direct that energy towards government. We can direct that energy towards people that we have problems in our life with, right? You can direct that energy anywhere, but it is a remembrance that you are a source of light. You are an extension of divine energy. And you can see the divine in what you look at, no matter how distorted it is. So let's go for it. Shall we unmute everybody? What do you think, Sheila?
Let's unmute and I'll put everyone on gallery. Here we go.
Here we go. So
All
what are we going
right.
to start? So who was that? Pat that said, who was that? No, that was Alandra. Do you want to start us off?
Okay, I'll be happy to do that. And I have another version of Ho'oponopono.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's okay, I'll just share that quickly. But what I do is I say, I'll just go through it quickly, but when you say it slowly, it goes really deep. But it really came from Ho'oponopono, and it starts with forgiveness for me, forgiveness for all, compassion for me, compassion for all. And then I do that with acceptance, love, and gratitude. So that's just another version, but we're including ourselves because we need to be part of this too, and maybe there are parts of each one of us here that we haven't forgiven ourselves. We haven't fully loved ourselves. We're still not fully grateful for who we are. And so I found this to be even more powerful. And that's my version, but I'll be happy to lead the traditional Ho'oponopono.
And could I ask too that after we do this, could you please put the alternative version in the chat for people?
Sure.
Thank
Be
you.
happy to do that.
And for everyone watching this after the live, watching the recording, please, just because you're not here in real time, your participation in this is valid, is also adding to the creation, to the light weavers creating a new matrix here on earth for everyone to enjoy. So yeah, do you want to start us off, Alanda?
Sure.
And everyone recited. I see you all still muted, but if you want to unmute so we can hear your voices.
I'm sorry.
Please
forgive me.
Please forgive me. Thank
Please
you.
forgive me. Thank you.
Thank you.
I
I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
love you.
Love you.
I love you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive
Please
me.
forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I
I
love you.
love you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
I thank
Thank
you.
you.
I love
I
you.
love
I
you.
love you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Please forgive
Please
me.
forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
I thank
Thank
you.
you.
I love you.
I love
I love
I
you.
love you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive
Please
me.
forgive me.
Please forgive
Please
me.
forgive me.
Thank you.
I
Thank
thank
you.
you.
I love you.
I love
I
you.
love you.
I love you.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive
Please
me.
forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
thank
Thank
I
you.
you.
love you.
I love
I
you.
love
I
you.
love
I
you.
love
I
you.
love you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please
Please
forgive me.
forgive me.
Please forgive
Please
me.
forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I
you.
thank you.
Thank
I
you.
love
I love
I
you.
love you.
I love you.
And remember to direct that energy towards anything that you judge or hate or are disgusted by. Any person, any corporation, any organization, any group of beings, any ET group, human group, any evil that you perceive, understanding that there is only one source and all of it comes from this place. And you are an extension of this divine light. We are all extensions of this divine light, including the perpetrators.
That was beautiful, Karen.
Thank you.
Well, that was very cool. And obviously we all have the ability to do this at anything that we judge or deem as unwanted and unworthy. I remember a few years ago, I went to talk at a conference up near Byron Bay. Does anyone know where Byron Bay is? I know Kristen does. Yeah. Patty does. And I had house swapped, and I was leaving the house and driving back to Sydney, and my daughter had a bit of a mini meltdown. She was staying with me in the house. We'd had such a lovely week, and she was having a bit of a mini meltdown. And she had a little friend staying with her who I was giving a lift to the highway. My daughter had her own car. And I was leaving to drive back to Sydney, and my daughter was in this place of melting down. And then I had this choice, like, do I stay as the guilty mother and rent somewhere and be there for her and, hold her and mother her? Do I do the mothering thing? Or do I leave and go back to Sydney with a 12-hour drive and just let her deal with it? If she's an adult, this choice, what will I do? Shall I stay and rescue her and be there for her, or do I leave and let her deal with it? So I made the decision to leave. I'm like, she's an adult. She knows what to do. And I gave, as I said, a friend of hers a lift in the car to the highway because she was going north and I was going south. And we were discussing this prayer. We weren't doing the prayer. We were just discussing it and how wonderful it is and how cool it is, and just talking about it, just chatting in the car. And as I pulled over to the side of the road to let her little friend out, my daughter sent a text to me It had been a 10-minute drive. We'd been in the car for 10 minutes. And when I say meltdown, she was having an almighty meltdown, like an almighty melt. She's like, I'm okay. Everything's great. I love you. I'll be fine. I'm happy. Like she just sent this text of reassurance that she was good and everything was fine. And I love you. And it was great to see you. And thank you so much. It's like in that 10 minutes in the car, just talking about the Ho'oponopono prayer, her energy had totally shifted. And I was like, I remember her little friend got out of the car. And the last thing she said to me was like, and people say this shit doesn't work. And I'm like, yeah, right. We weren't even doing the prayer. We were just talking about it. Yeah, it's powerful stuff. Right? This is who we are as deliberate creators. When we shift our focus out of our problems and out of our drama and put it back on the divine and all that we deem as divine, the energy that we deem as divine, love and unity and forgiveness. I know we all know this. Like there's not anyone on this call or anyone that's listening to this that doesn't know this. It's just that sometimes when we see the distortion as the light reveals the corruption, we really need reminding, right? We really need to be reminded of we are part of the solution, the light weavers weaving a new matrix and not part of the problem. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I would be curious, does anyone want to share their experience real quickly with the prayer? Did you feel anything?
Yeah, I thought that was beautiful and it went deep. I really felt that going out, into the world. And I also wanted to just mention too, whenever we witness something like that, that it's also an opportunity to do a blessing. So that's another thing we can do, besides the beautiful Ho'oponopono energy, is to just send a blessing out, and to just hold that sacred space and neutrality. Because we're not there to fight it or battle it. We're there to bless it and hold the highest for all. Thank you. That was beautiful. I love that.
I'm muted again. Yeah, thanks for everyone for participating. It's just amazing how this all worked out, right? Like Sheila asked me, I don't know, weeks ago to do this, and I really didn't think about it. And then I'm sort of totally geeking out on the interviews of the movie because it's like making big news, right? And thinking about the consciousness that's allowing this to be revealed and how the effect of it is having on people. So like even Sheila said that you left feeling heavy. I would imagine a lot of people are left feeling heavy because, and how we as a group that gathers like this, because Sheila, shows up twice a week after work to bring you all together to do this, and how we can make a difference in this world. I mean, it's great to hear people talk about their stories, and I do this, every week with the show, and a couple of times a month. Sheila does it twice a week. I do it twice a month in the Inner Sanctum. But bringing us all together, it's, where two or more are gathered in my name. I keep quoting scripture, and I never even grew up in a religious family. But as I say, the Sananda, who I call Yeshua, is one of my buds, and he chats to me all the time. Yeah, he's a pretty cool dude. He's an ET, of course.
Yes.
Samuel Shong will show you that when you get Samuel.
That's true. That's true.
He's a high dimensional being who elected to volunteer to come to Earth to teach and remind. I think it's as many of you are spiritual teachers who are on this call and listening to it. I don't think we teach anybody anything. We just remind them of who they really are. And then when you remember who you are, then you've got your own guides teaching you. You don't need to be taught from another human. You just need to be reminded that you are connected to an infinite source of intelligence that is constantly flowing to you and through you. Yeah.
Let's see, is there anybody else that would like to share?
Kristen.
Yes, Kristen. Hi.
Hi. So the activity going on all around me quieted for a minute.
Nice.
For reasons that don't need to go into, I've actually had resistance to that prayer for a long time.
Whoa.
But I thought, all right, Karen, I'll buy in. And I know that it's beautiful. It has nothing to do with much. But anyway, I noticed the second you started talking about it and you were like, let's all do it. And you put your hands like this, huge wave of loving, loud, I hear energy before I feel it or see it or anything hit me so hard. It almost knocked me off my chair. Almost knocked me off my chair when you just said, let's do it. And you went like this, like it just rose. And I don't know, it's amazing to me how we're all over the world on this call. And yet we all come together like that. And I just love it. And then actually while we were doing it, because I did it, thank you for making me. I forgive you for that. But yes, you. I'm just teasing. But you know, I could all these things happen, and on all of us as energy workers probably get this. I'm burping, I'm yawning, tears are coming down, not because I'm crying, just so it was working, clearing something, and on a huge scale, and it was deafening the way that I did. So, and it was one of the strongest things I felt in a long time.
Wow, honey one, that is so cool.
Yeah.
And what comes to mind as you're talking is that beautiful thing by Deepak when I was young and on a, you know, evolving journey. Deepak Chopra says a lot of things, but what I remember is resistance is like a wall holding back the flow of love. So whatever we're in resistance to, we're literally walling up this flow of love that wants to speak and flow through us. And yeah, so it's interesting that you said you had resistance to that prayer for whatever reason. It might be past life stuff, like whatever reason it is, doesn't really matter. But resistance is resistance, right? Whatever we say no to, like Esther Hicks or the Abraham through Esther Hicks would say, you can't scream no in a vibrational universe. Yeah. 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 Oh, darling. Oh, that is so cool. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thanks for letting me share, you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Okay, Susie has her hand up again. Let's see.
Yeah, real quick. I too had a resistance against this for a long time, because I think forgiveness, if you've had any kind of I wouldn't say Christian background, but biblical. And so this forgiveness, but something that really helped me, and Nelia Benz, who's never had a body, you know, she's been straight here from Gaia. And she was instructed by Gaia to go listen to this man for 3 weeks. And he was a murderer, a raper, and it was very difficult for her to listen. And then Gaia said, give him amnesty. And she argued. She said, no. And she gave him amnesty. He went right into the light. And she did, you know, our thing to forgive, I don't want to forgive that. That guy was a bad guy. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, but I love the prayer now. Very, very much. Very, very beautiful.
Well, you're actually not forgiving them. You're actually asking for yourself. So you're directing, that prayer is directed at you, like, I'm sorry, I am sorry, please forgive me. It's not I forgive you. It's not I forgive you. It's like, I am sorry, please forgive me. I love you, or thank you, I love you. So you're evoking energy within your system. That's what the prayer is about. And then you're directing that energy, like whatever intention, wherever you're directing it, you're directing the energy. So you're not saying, I forgive you. You're saying, please forgive me. It's quite a different energy. Years ago, I told you my dad beat me up and all that sort of stuff. I did a personal growth course, and I was first divorced. I'd left my first husband. I was in my mid to late 30s, and I was still this young hot chick thinking I'm going to fall in love, and this lover's going to, like, you know, bring me love, and everything's going to be beautiful when I find the lover. You know that story that we think. Anyway, I did this personal growth course, and I realized that all the people I wasn't talking to were men. And here I was as this 30-something-year-old girl thinking that I'm going to find this beautiful lover, in my life, and realizing that the men that are in my life, I'm not talking to. One was my father, one was my ex-husband, and one was my brother, right? And the course had challenged me to clean up the messes that I had created in my life. And the same deal. It's not, you ring them up and you don't say, I forgive you. You ring them up and you say, please forgive me. It's not as easy to do, but it's much more powerful. And that's exactly what I did. So I rang up my father, who'd abused me and beaten me and put me in hospital as a child. And I asked for his forgiveness. I didn't say, I forgive you. I said, please forgive me. And then, you know, I had 3 different reactions. My father didn't take any responsibility for anything that he had done, but I didn't really do it for him. At the time, I was doing it for me, because I was like wanting to find, you know, a new boyfriend, new husband, whatever, like more love in my life. So he took no responsibility. And my ex-husband was just like, okay, yep, good, yep, okay, yep, good. Like this is on the phone. This is at the course. I did the 3 at lunchtime because, you know, I thought, yeah, that's a good idea. And then somebody challenged me and said, when are you going to do it? I said, oh, I don't know. I'll do it when I do it. And they're like, well, what's wrong with now? And I'm like, I have to do it now. And then I thought, well, bloody hell, you know, we're doing this. I'll just do it now. Just do it now. It's hard to do. And I do it with my clients too. And it's not easy. And then my brother, who I hadn't spoken to for probably about a year or 2, I just, oh God, it's going to make me cry. I just said, you know, I'm sorry. And he just broke into tears immediately. He said, oh my God, I love you. You know, so I had these 3 different reactions from these 3 different men, but we don't do it for them. We do it to create more space and more life and more flow within our own life. And with that energy that we hold, we can do amazing things. Like we can be the deliberate creators of our own world and this world and multiple dimensional worlds. Like when you hold the light, you can do amazing things. Oh, Nissan has his.
And one of the things, before we bring Nissan on, I was going to say, one of the things that I always talk with people about is the fact when we have these people triggering us, they're actually bringing up these aspects of ourselves that really need to be healed. So instead of becoming angry, drop into that gratitude because they're providing the opportunity for you to heal. And so, you know, it kind of goes parallel with exactly what you're talking about. But I'll go ahead. I'm going to move off here and let's bring Nissan up again. Okay, Nissan, you have another question or a comment?
No, just I'll just go against the player, which I know forgiveness been one of the hardest lessons for most people. Most people that I guided myself. Right now, my cousin, I would say, is having a little struggle with this one, and I find this a unique way of having them going through the process of forgiveness, because trying to teach someone to let go of all that hate, negativity in order to let in, you know, more positive energy is it's a little trial for most. So I have not used this particular method before. So I thank you for sharing it with me.
Thank you for participating.
And I will hope to have good news with going forward, teaching this to others from now on and see their reaction.
Does anyone know the name of the guy who created the prayer? Because I've totally forgotten his name. Does anyone online know his name? Anyway, we can Google it. I should Google it now. or I can search engine it. Yeah, it's powerful. I mean, it's been taught in many different ways. Forgiveness, we talk about forgiving. And most people think I'm going to forgive the person who hurt me. But instead of forgiving them, ask for their forgiveness because we directed energy at them in hatred. Yeah.
The name of the guy is Halakia Hulan. He's a PhD and Hawaiian psychologist, shamanic practitioner.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, Sheila. Thanks, Sheila. Is it Peter? Peiter? Is that how you say your name?
Yeah. Peter, doesn't matter.
Peter.
I was just having acupuncture before I came on this program. And when I do that, I do a green light clearing of poisons and all that, and then a white light meditation. And I grow the white light of love in my heart, and I eventually spread it around the globe. And as soon as I did that, I had a rush of energy coming in from the feet and the crown. And then I come on here and we're basically doing the same thing. And I was continuing doing it. So I was really amazed.
Cool. Don't you love those synchronicities?
Yes.
You know, I got to tell you about, I've had a few fabulous people. Another one that Brandon sent me. I don't know if you've, he sent this, I think he sent her to you too, Sheila. So Dr. Edith Ubuntu Chan was on the show, and she was talking about, she was talking about many things. God, she's got so much to talk about, apart from the new children blanketing the earth in a new consciousness, which I just love. She was talking about, during one of her spiritual awakenings, having her crown chakra, being aware of her crown chakra and having it sing, and how she could manipulate, you know, her chakras. And she said her crown chakra was singing, do, 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 do. What's that? Do, 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 do. What's that opera that anyway, it was in her crown chakra was singing this. So yeah, as energetic beings, we forget.
Tchaikovsky.
Thank you. We forget how powerful energy is, because we're so focused on the material in this world, and we're energy vortices, and we have these vortices that we can expand and contract, and we're doing it all the time. And as a teacher of energy medicine, you know, I haven't taught it for a while, but when we can tune into our chakras, we can literally expand them and contract them. And I think what happens with a lot of empaths, you know, we and people, especially on a spiritual awakening, we start expanding our field. This happened to me in my 30s. We start thinking about cosmic stuff, spiritual stuff. We start talking to angels and ascended masters and ETs. And as we do, we expand our field, and we expand, and we shift our DNA, and we expand our chakras, expand, and then we don't clean up our own subconscious programming on negative thinking. And then we walk around with these energy bodies that are heightened, and we go into this world, this matrix of distortion and fear, and then we're completely overwhelmed by the energies that we can feel, right, as empaths. I used to do this. I used to go to the supermarket. I used to feel everyone and everything, even the people in the advertising companies thinking about what color to make the box of cornflakes or what words to put on it to, you know, like I could feel everything. I was so expanded as I expanded. And I'd drop my basket and run home and sit in a corner and rock and say, I'm never going out again. I'm never going out again. And I think it's so important, and I want to see it taught in every school. And something I talked to Edith Ubuntu Chan about, you know, the new children understand how to flow their energy. They can see energy, they can see their vortices, they can see I remember I had one healer on the show saying that her little son telling me about her little son was sick, and he was looking at his sacral chakra, energy vortices chakra, and he was saying it's slowed down, it's not moving like it normally moves, and it's a different color. It used to be this color and now it's that color. Like he could see the illness represented in the energy in his chakra. And you know, these kids can see this energy, and we forget that our thoughts are the director of this energy, and as we think, we're directing energy. And so just what Pietro, I don't know how to say his name, was saying, that yeah, we can ask for the light and expand the light and change the color of the light and look into our chakras and see if one's spinning. I remember I was showing you all the crystals at the beginning of this before we went on live. I went to a friend's place the other day who talks about crystals and energy vortices and ley lines and all that sort of stuff, and she was using the pendulum over a picture of the chakra system as a visual of how your energy is spinning. Like, so you can take a pendulum and direct your thought onto this picture, this line of this body that has the chakras as in colors, and ask the pendulum to show you what your chakras are doing. I used to teach it like you can just do it like by just tuning in, like just say, show me what my base chakra is doing. Is it closed? Is it wide? And you can just tune in. But having that visual image is kind of nice, because we're so focused on what we can see in this third dimensional reality, and then using a pendulum and letting the pendulum show you. So I was doing it on myself, and my base chakra wasn't very strong, and then the sacral chakra wasn't very strong, and then as I got up to my third eye, the pendulum was like swinging. But so when you can see where you're flowing energy out of one part and you're not flowing energy, you can literally shift that. So as I saw the distortion in my own field, I thought, right, let's expand the base chakra, let's expand the sacral chakra, let's in back and front and the heart chakra, and let's bring in the third eye chakra a bit, so it's not so out there, so I'm not picking up on everyone's thoughts and seeing everything. And then do it again with the pendulum, and you can see the balance. But yeah, our thoughts create our reality. They create it in every dimension, and this third dimensional matrix that we're all experiencing is just another energetic matrix that we're creating through our belief systems.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was looking through, there's some absolutely beautiful comments and observations that people have been making tonight. I wanted to share a couple.
Oh, I haven't looked at any of them.
So many people have enjoyed having you here. Let's see. I'm not sure, Patty. Okay. I'm not sure. Is Patty? Okay. Says Karen, would it be so that silence is golden rather than to get all worked up and vocal about the wrongdoers of all types?
Yeah, interesting. Is that a question? Is silence golden rather to get worked up?
Yeah.
Well, interesting. You know what comes to mind? I remember when my father died, he was married to his third wife at the time, who was probably the worst of the stepmothers. And I had a conversation with her where my little brother, the one that, burst into tears when I asked for his forgiveness and told him he loved me. He's such a beautiful man. He wanted to speak at his father's funeral, and she didn't want to let him. And I spoke to the priest that was going to perform the funeral, and he said, well, I can't do anything about it because she's paying the bills. I'm like, God damn. And I remember having this conversation and hanging up the phone and feeling anger like I've never felt anger before. Have you ever felt white hot anger where you can't say anything? And normally when I'm feeling an emotion, I'm quite animated and vocal. Came from a family of yellers, you know what I mean? Screamers. And I remember sitting in this anger and feeling the energy of it. And I wasn't saying anything, but I was definitely pinching off my light. And what I noticed is that as I sat there, like next to the phone in the hallway where we had at the time, feeling this white hot anger at this woman who wouldn't let my brother speak at his father's funeral, I started getting sick. I felt my throat close up. I felt I started to feel sick. And I thought, whoa, sitting in this anger is not affecting her so much. Maybe it is, but it's affecting me. I got to get over it. So I started to think differently about her and started to see her as a divine being, and then thought she's not really got control. And I started to visualize my brother speaking, and I started to see her softening her heart and allowing him to speak. Like I started to visualize what I wanted instead of sitting in the anger of what is. And instead of being angry at what is, I started to visualize what I wanted, the outcome. And as I did that, I literally felt my body get better. Like it was getting sick. I was like swelling and sore throat and headache. And I literally felt all that drop away. And it was just an amazing experience of how shifting your energy can instantly create your reality. So what happened was the next day was the funeral. She had had a change of heart and she allowed my brother to speak. And I'm like, whoa, that worked. Because the last thing she said to me was, I don't care. I just don't care, and slammed the phone down. Like, I don't give a damn, basically. He's not to speak. I'm paying for the funeral and I don't want him to speak. That was her stance. But she had changed her mind by the time. And then I spoke to my brother about it. And it's really funny. What he said to me was, no one was going to stop me. I don't care if she's paying the bill to the funeral, or if she wasn't going to let me. I was going to get up and speak no matter what, like no one was going to stop me. And I thought, isn't that interesting? Yeah. So I don't know if you make a noise about it or not make a noise about it, the energy you're evoking is having an effect. And a lot of people sit in silence and think negative things, and it has a really detrimental effect on their own lives and on the lives around them. Yeah, so being noisy or not, it's really about the energy. What do you feel? Whether you're noisy or silent, what are you feeling? And it is that feeling that is an indication of how we're flowing our energy. It is that feeling, our emotional guidance system. Our emotions are showing us what we're doing with our energy. So when we feel good, we're feeling that connection to source, or a strong connection to source. And when we feel bad, we're feeling ourselves pinch ourselves off from that energy of source, which is power, which is light, which is our power to create on purpose. So yeah, it's really important to utilize that emotional guidance system. And then when we do feel ourselves hating on somebody or judging somebody, to shift that if you want to. I mean, this is a free will universe. You can create as much drama and pain and sickness and in your life as you want. It's like you're given that choice. Go for it. I don't think God judges. I just says, here's the playground, play. Right. God, source, and you can create heaven or hell. It's up to you. What do you want? What do you want? Yeah.
I wanted to share Julia. She said, if we find what we're looking for, are we looking for what is wrong with the experience so that we can forgive ourself or our past self, so that we can open up the space for the only law, which is love? Thought that was beautiful. I wanted to share that. I'm just kind of looking through.
Can I share a story about that? Who's read the Conversation with God books? Do you remember the little soul and the sun, the story of the little soul and the sun? So I want to remind us of that. So two souls are having a bit of a chat about experiencing the earth plane. And one says to the other one, I'd really love to experience the aspect of love that is called forgiveness. I have no idea what that would feel like, because, in the higher realms, some of us call them heavenly realms, or in the higher realms, in the realms where only pure positive energy exists, you can't experience a negative thought, right? You don't understand density. You don't understand, there is nothing to forgive. If you murdered me in another lifetime, maybe that was in our soul. We made that agreement. So there's nothing to forgive, right? So one soul is saying to the other soul, I really want to understand the energy, the aspect of love called forgiveness. Can you help me do that? And the other soul says, yeah, I love you enough that I will help you do that. I will incarnate into the earth experience, and I will forget my light, and I'll do something horrible to you to give you that experience of forgiveness. But it's only because I love you, because the person that takes on the darkness is braver than the one that is the so-called victim, because they're pinching themselves off further from the light in order to give this other one that experience. And so that's the story of the little souls and the sun, that he would choose to be the villain, to do something awful to this soul, so he may give him an experience in which he has to forgive. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. And, tonight, I think it's not just been thought-provoking, but I think that there was a lot of healing that took place. I think there was a lot of compassion extended. And I think that a lot of people had the opportunity to, maybe release and to let go of some things that they brought in. So for all you brave souls that did the release work, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Karen, I appreciate you creating that space for that to happen as well. And as we wrap everything up, I want to see, is there like the final thought that you want to leave with people? And of course, I also want you to tell them, I've got to get you back so we can talk about your book. I wanted to ask you about that, but everything just sort of went this other flow, which was
I know. I had a bit of a plan. The guides had a plan for today.
That's right. So we'll have to get you back, but if you could share your website, how people can get a hold of you, tell them about all the beautiful work that you're doing.
Well, the website's my name, karenswain.com. And what beautiful work am I doing? So I do private sessions helping people overcome their negative programming and remember their light and remember their mission here on earth and who they are and why they've come, why they volunteered and all that sort of stuff. I really speak, I call myself a teacher of teachers. I speak to the New World teachers, and many people, actually pretty much most of them. Kristen's been a member of my group for years, and I tell everyone who comes into my group, you're a teacher, and pretty much 90% of them say, no, I'm not. Want to argue with me. They want to argue with me.
Right.
But, you know, a teacher doesn't mean that you're going on podcasts and, you know, setting up shop. Is it, you know, a teacher comes in many guise. And as I said, my first teacher was my mother who died young of cancer. So we don't really want to be the terrible warning. We'd much prefer to be a shining example. But a teacher can be the one in the family who forgives the heinous act and allows the others to loosen up their anger and resentment towards another family member or a friend. You know, a teacher comes in many guises. So I speak to the New World teachers, and I have the podcast show and the group and the courses teaching people how to speak to their spirit guides, because I have such access to my spirit guides, I guess you call. And the guides have said to me, this whole phenomena on earth, which we call channeling and hypnosis, is like the training wheels for a time where all of us have access to their guides as easily as I do, where you can channel ascended masters and, you know, speak to angels and direct energy and to shift and create energy matrices and create universes. Because we do that when we've not forgotten who we are. Like, you know, speak to Mary Rodwell. She speaks to some of the star kids who talk about creating universes with their energy, you know, and creating worlds and designing, you know, different life forms. I mean, it's amazing what we get up to when we've not forgotten who we are. And we can do all that while we're incarnate. We don't have to die to do that. So, yeah. So what else do I want to say? Yeah, the show is, I usually do it once a week. I've been thinking about stopping the show, you know, this year, because I've seen so many other shows just raging ahead on YouTube with hundreds of thousands of views and younger people, and they're having great conversations. And I'm like, I've been doing it for almost 14 years. And I think maybe I should just hand it over to the young ones. And as soon as I had that thought, Brandon gave me like 20 people to talk to on the show. Yeah. And then I had like about half a dozen emails come in saying, put me on your show, put me on your show. And I thought, I think that's a bit of a message that I'm not stopping the show anytime soon. So, yeah, what else do I want to say? The Conscious Awakening Network. So...
Thank you, Karen. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. But I really appreciate you coming on. I appreciate all the times you step in and hold space for me so I can do the other things that I have to do in life. And, you know, I just love having you here. I really, really appreciate it. And I would just want to thank everyone for being here tonight. I want to thank everyone for joining us, whether you're live and was participating, whether you're watching us on Zoom or any of the other canned platforms. You know, thank you so much for being here. I always want to give a good shout out to Bridget with Awaken Ascending and broadcasting this out to her community. Thank you so much. And I love all of you. Thank you so much for coming every week and shining your light and opening your heart and participating and being brave to ask questions and making all these gorgeous comments in the chat. Thank you so much. So until we are back together again, much love to everyone and have a beautiful week and namaste. Much love, everyone. Good night.
Yeah. Sheila,
love you.
Who's coming up next time, Sheila? Who have you got coming up next time?
You know, I have to look at, you know, I live day to day. I live in my calendar. So I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Well, so, we've got you're coming up as a guest in the Inner Sanctum. It's mid-August. Yes. It will be a Saturday afternoon in the States, a Sunday morning here. I try to do it a time zone that gets it's like the middle of the night for Europe it's the morning, Sunday morning early for Australia, and it's like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the afternoon on the different time zones in the Northern Hemisphere. And Sheila is going to be our guest. So I hope you all can join us, and Sheila can share her wisdom instead of being the host, because, you know, all these hosts that put on all these things are amazing beings and they've got lots to say, just like you, Bridget, Renee Holiday as well. Amazing beings. Yeah.
So
So
Monday
big love.
night, we do have Frank Jacobs coming, and Frank
Frank.
Yeah. So you know all about Frank. So if you guys don't know him, kind of join us on Monday night. Now, you've interviewed him, right?
Yeah.
You want to share it? Yeah.
He's interesting.
Sees the future. He's working on all kinds of different technologies.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. He's one of those ones that teeters on that. He's got the spiritual component, but he's also into the we got to fight the bad guys. We've got to fight the bad guys. I want to quote something that Tim Ballard said, who's the guy that is the person they made The Sound of Freedom about. He was on a show with Anthony Robbins that I watched. As I said, I geeked out on all these interviews. And he said, to fulfill my purpose, I don't need to fight the darkness. I just need to be the light. So as we've got to remember that as we listen to people like Frank, who he's great, he's fascinating and interesting, but he's still into we've got to fight the bad guys, and we've got to remember to not get too caught up in the war, because then we're just a part of the war, right? If we're peacemakers, we just don't want to be a part of the war. But it's so easy to get swept into that consciousness of yes, let's fight the bad guys. But he's very fascinating. Yeah, I'll tune into that.
Wonderful. All right. Well, join us, everybody. So I get another opportunity to thank you for coming and give you much love. So thank you so much. And everybody have a beautiful week.